Hi, I'm Mark, this is Mark's Tech Blogs on YouTube, and today I'm going to bring you guys a review of a Switchbot Pan Tilt Plus 3K camera. Now this is the updated version of their 2K camera, which has been around for a while but is something I've not actually reviewed before. And this is an indoor camera capable of rotating and covering a 360-degree angle horizontally. And this is thanks to a motorized base. Now to start this video, I want to tell you that Switchbot have very kindly sent me this to review, which means I haven't paid for it, but with any company that reaches out, I'm always clear that I'll make an honest review. And I've been working with Switchbot for a really long time, and they're always really up for honest reviews, so that's what you guys are going to get. Alongside that, I actually have a number of Switchbot products I've purchased myself that I use every day around my home, and I'm a big fan of Switchbot. But let's talk about this camera and kick off with price. Now this camera retails at about £80, which isn't particularly bad value for something of this quality. It also has Wi-Fi built in, which means you won't need to worry about a hub. You literally just need everything you get in the box. Now if you've seen the previous model, the design is largely unchanged and actually has quite a small profile for a camera. It's pretty much all white with a completely rounded top and then a black front where the lens is. That front camera can be manually switched into a privacy mode by sliding it down, and this can also be done in the app. If you slide it up, you'll come across the micro SD card slot. The back of this camera has a USB-C port for connecting it up to power, and you even get a charging brick in the box. So let's talk about spec. So this camera has a 5 megapixel ultra high def lens, and it can record in up to 3K video. It also supports night mode too, which kind of works in two ways. There's a coloured night mode that works kind of normally, and then there's also an infrared night mode if it's too dark to operate. You can choose whether it should switch to this infrared mode in the app. It requires connecting to your home Wi-Fi on a 2.4 GHz network. It also has motion detection built in, so it can detect motion and track that motion around your room. You can also set different sensitivity levels to this. In addition to that, it's got some AI features so it can detect if something moving is a human or not. Now it covers a 360-degree angle horizontally and 115 degrees angle vertically. And if you want to, you can use the app to kind of cycle it around the room. You can also set scheduled cycles as well. Alongside that, there's also a microphone and speaker built in and an alarm that you can trigger via the app. If you use Amazon or Google voice assistants, then it is also compatible with both of those, which means you could get the feed to show you on something like an Amazon Echo Show. This isn't something I've tested as I don't use either of those platforms. Now at the time of recording, there is no Matter, Siri shortcut or HomeKit support. And then in terms of memory, it can take a micro SD card up to 256 gigabytes. The other option, if you don't want to put a memory card in it, or if you want off-site backups, is you can use cloud storage. Now you can get a 14-day trial of this, and after that 14-day trial, it's going to cost you £3 a month. And that £3 a month is just for one device. The other thing worth mentioning that you get in the box is you do get a wall or ceiling mount and some screws to go with it. So if you don't want to sit it on the side of something and you want to mount it on a wall or ceiling, you can easily do that with the kit included. So let's talk about setting it up. So setting this camera up is pretty simple. First up, you want to plug it in somewhere. And then you want to open up the Switchbot app or download it and create an account if you don't already have it. From there, you can hit the plus in the top right and find the camera on that screen. At this point, the app is going to talk you through the setup process. And you need to start by using the SIM release tool, which does actually come with it in order to reset the camera using the hole on the back. From there, you're going to add in the Wi-Fi details for your home network and also scan the QR code that appears on your phone screen. Then you do all the usual things you do with smart home products, whereby you assign it to a room and give it a name. The only other thing you must do at this stage is if you have put a memory card in it, you're going to want to format that memory card. And then of course at this point you can configure any extra settings that you want to. So let's talk about using this camera. And I've been using it for about a week to try and put it through its paces to bring you guys this review. And firstly, hopefully as you've seen already, the video quality is pretty good. There is certainly a slight judder with some of the movement, but the actual quality video is really good. One thing I can't really show you here, but actually when it tilts around and moves, it does this really quietly. This means you could use it as something like a baby monitor and it's not going to make a lot of noise. Generally, movement tracking does seem to be pretty good, although I did find to get the most out of it I needed to up the sensitivity a bit. It's also worth saying that if you toggle on the human detection, whilst it will track all motion, it will only record humans. The other feature that seems to be lacking here, which is on their outside camera, is the ability to track pets. There doesn't seem to be an animal recognition feature at the moment. In terms of the controls for this camera, when you first open the Switchbot app, you'll get a screen at the top showing you last captured screenshot. You can then click through to get a live feed and some other options as well. I found that generally this loads pretty quickly, but if there's been a longer period of time between the camera actually capturing something, it does take a tiny bit longer to load. The same goes if you're trying to access it outside of your home. That initial screen that loads shows you a timeline of clips, buttons for activating the microphone and live recording, the option to take a screenshot, and go in full screen. The direction tab lets you pan the camera around and up and down. The features tab lets you easily toggle a variety of modes. This includes things like putting it into privacy mode and sounding the alarm. Then you have a playback tab, and this is where you can view and save videos. And this is probably my main criticism of the camera, because saving videos isn't as simple as with other cameras I've used. Essentially, if you want to save a video, you basically have to play it back and record it at the same time, and it will then save to your phone. Personally, I think this needs updating so you can just have a quick save button. If there is one hidden somewhere, let me know below, but it's certainly not easy to find. One of the things I really like about this camera beyond the quality is the ability to tie it into different scenes. This again is done by the Switchbot app and the Scenes tab. For example, maybe you want to set up a geolocation based one so that when you get home the privacy mode comes on, and when you leave the privacy mode comes off. That means you're only filming when you're not at home. And this is really easy to do. You can also set time-based ones, so maybe it only records during the night. If you use other Switchbot products, perhaps they're lights, then you can even do things with other products based on the state of the camera. For example, maybe you wanted to turn the lights on when a human's detected. If we dive deeper into the camera settings, there's even some other modes you can set up. This includes the ability to set up a patrol. This is where you can schedule a whole room scan with the camera at certain times during the day. There's also the option to select areas to detect, although this isn't very advanced because it just chooses like a square angle rather than different parts of a room with a 360-degree angle. And then, as I said, it's compatible with both Google and Amazon, although these are things I've not tested. All in all, however, what is the verdict on this Switchbot 3K camera? With a really nice price point, some great options to add it into scenes and really good quality video, I actually think this camera is really good value for money. There are, however, a few snags in my opinion. Firstly, getting video off of it shouldn't be as difficult as it is, and I'm not a big fan of the whole kind of re-recording the clip that's already saved. I think you should just be able to click save. This is of course something that's actually software rather than hardware, so it is something that could be fixed in the future. And one of the things I've seen with Switchbot over the last kind of 4 or 5 years is that they are continuously improving and updating their software. Secondly, it would be nice to see more AI features, such as animal detection, which is a thing with their outside camera. This would make this especially useful for tracking pets when you're on holiday. Thirdly, I'd like to see some kind of support for Siri shortcuts. And Switchbot is usually pretty good at supporting Siri shortcuts, so even a shortcut that could toggle privacy mode on or off or something would be really useful. All in all, however, this camera is pretty good quality and ties in nicely to the Switchbot ecosystem. And the Switchbot app is just nice and easy to use. And all 3 of the downsides I've talked about, in my opinion, could be fixed in software. So we'll see what happens with this camera as it kind of evolves into the future. If you guys have got any questions, do stick them below and I'll answer those for you. If you do want to pick one up, I have put links to both the Switchbot website and the Amazon site. Make sure you check both out because different prices kind of vary. The Amazon links and Switchbot links will go to whichever country you're in, and I've even got a discount code for the Switchbot site. Now, both of those links are affiliate links, so if you make a purchase using one of those, that will help this channel out and help me keep making content for you guys, because this isn't my full-time job. If you've enjoyed this video, hit like, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys again soon.